Take a deep breath. Let the noise of the day begin to fade. Let your shoulders drop, your jaw unclench, your hands soften in your lap. Feel the ground beneath you, solid, steady. Close your eyes, or let them gently rest on something still. Notice the breath entering and leaving your body. Notice that you are being held by gravity, by grace. You are entering a sacred space, not defined by walls, candles, or quiet music, but by the presence of God. This space becomes holy the moment you acknowledge His nearness. A space created not by silence, but by surrender. Not by control, but by connection. This moment is not ordinary. It is not rushed, not forced. It is holy, set apart not by your effort, but by His nearness. God is already here, not waiting on perfect words or posture. Just your willingness to come close. Just your breath, your presence, your openness. Let yourself arrive fully. Here, not with the version of yourself you wish you were, but as you are. With your doubts, your distractions, your tiredness, your longing. Release the need to understand everything. Let go of what happened earlier. Lay down what is waiting tomorrow. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out. God speaks in this moment, not the past, not the future. Here. And you are invited, not to perform, not to impress, but to listen. To really listen. With your whole being. Not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Listening not for volume, but for truth. Not for noise, but for peace. Not for control, but for love. Not to analyze, but to receive. Not to master, but to yield. The heart that listens is the heart that trusts. It is the heart that believes God still speaks. And that His voice, though gentle, carries all the power of creation. Every time you turn your attention inward, toward the quiet, the breath, the awareness of Him, you step closer to the sacred. You take one more step into the mystery. You become the soil where divine seeds can grow. God's voice is not like the world's. It does not shout. It does not demand. It waits. Gently. Lovingly. It is the sound of stillness. The language of heaven is often silence, and in that silence He speaks. It is the whisper behind your worries, the stillness within your storm, the softness in the chaos. You do not need to strive. Listening is not effort. It's surrender. It's a posture of the soul. It is trust that God speaks when you're ready to receive. And sometimes before you even realize you're listening. It's leaning in. It's opening up. It's letting go of needing to have all the answers. It's becoming aware that presence is the answer. There is a voice that's older than time, wiser than any mind, and kinder than any word you've heard. It's the voice that called light into being. The same voice that whispered, "Peace, be still." The voice that walked in the garden with Adam. The voice that called Moses from the bush. The voice that spoke through prophets. And the voice that still speaks now. Sometimes it sounds like a thought you didn't generate. A peace that wasn't there a moment ago. A memory that carries grace. A truth that brings freedom. It may sound like scripture rising to your heart when you didn't expect it. It may not sound like anything at all, but feel like a knowing, a sense that you are not alone. A sense of clarity, of calm, of being seen. Sometimes His voice speaks through tears, a release you didn't see coming. Sometimes through laughter, the lightness of being known and loved. He speaks through beauty, through silence, through the ache that tells you were made for more, through a flicker of hope that won't go out, through a moment of stillness in the middle of the mess. God's voice does not compete for attention. It does not force. It invites. It waits to be welcomed. And when it comes, it may not change your surroundings, but it will always change you. It transforms your inner world, renews your mind, tends to your soul. Let this moment soften you. Let it teach you how to be still. Let it gently untangle the rush in your spirit. Let God do the speaking. You don't have to bring clarity, just openness. You don't need eloquence, just willingness. You don't need control, just consent. Think of Elijah on the mountain. The wind came, powerful, dramatic, but God was not in the wind. Then the earthquake. Then the fire. But God wasn't in those either. And then came a gentle whisper. And Elijah knew, not just a sound, but a presence, a knowing deeper than explanation, a recognition not of noise, but of nearness. That same whisper reaches you now, in your doubts, in your questions, in your longing, in your ordinary breath, in your kitchen, in your car, in your exhaustion, in your joy, in your loneliness and your laughter. He's not far off. He's here. He's with you in the mundane, in the moments no one else sees. God is not far. He is not hidden. He is not waiting for you to climb higher or clean yourself up. He is closer than your breath. He meets you exactly where you are. He enters through honesty, not perfection. He draws near to the open heart. And that still, small voice, it may say nothing at all, but still it speaks. Because listening to God is not just about hearing words. It's about knowing that He is near. It's the soul's awareness of divine companionship. When you listen, you make space for love to reach you. When you listen, you say yes without speaking. When you listen, your soul turns toward Him like a flower toward sunlight. You create sacred space within yourself. You become an altar of stillness, a tabernacle of peace. You don't have to know how to do this. You don't have to feel perfect peace. You just have to show up with your heart open. You just have to be willing to pause. To let the moment be more than routine. To let the silence speak. God can speak through a quiet moment, through a walk, through a child's laughter, through a line in a song, through a verse that lands in your spirit like rain on dry ground, through the quiet in your morning routine, through the pause between your words, through the ache of your waiting, through the relief of your release, through the kind word of a stranger, through the nudge to forgive, through the courage to hope again. His voice does not always answer questions. Sometimes it just brings presence, comfort, stillness, perspective, a reminder. I am with you. That is often enough, more than enough. In a world filled with noise, learning to listen becomes an act of courage, an act of resistance against the rush, a way of saying, God, you are enough. Your voice is worth more than the opinions, the updates, the endless noise. It becomes a declaration. My peace will not be dictated by the world's volume. Sometimes, the voice of God will echo back your name with love. Not your title, not your achievement, your name. And it will remind you, you are mine. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not a project. You are a child. You are not a performance. You are a person. You are not lost. You are loved. You are not behind. You are being led. Let this listening time be slow. Let it be unrushed. If your thoughts wander, that's okay. Just return, again and again, back to your breath, back to the awareness. God is here. Back to the simplicity of now. Back to the truth that you're not alone. Listening is not about controlling the outcome. It's about being present. Sometimes He will speak a clear word. Other times, He will let the silence hold you. Sometimes it will be direction. Sometimes simply companionship. Either way, He is there. This is not about what you can take from God. It's about resting in who He is and who you are to Him. When Jesus walked the earth, He often withdrew to quiet places, not because He was weak, but because He was wise. He modeled a rhythm of listening, of returning to the Father, of filling before pouring out. He listened, and so he loved. He listened, and so he led. He moved at the pace of the Spirit, not the pressure of the crowd. Let his rhythm become yours. Even in your busyness, even in your chaos, let moments of stillness return you to truth. Let the breath be your anchor. Let grace be your rhythm. Let listening be your refuge. God is not a task. He is not a checklist. He is a person. He longs to be known. He wants to walk with you, not just be checked in with. He's not asking for performance, just presence. He is not looking for polish, but for permission to come close. And his voice, it's always worth waiting for. It's always worth quieting for. It's always worth making space for. So, let yourself be quiet. Not perfectly, just honestly. Let your breathing be your prayer. Let your openness be your worship. Let your surrender be your strength. Let your stillness be sacred. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to say the right words. You just need to be here, present, listening. Let his love speak louder than your fear. Let his peace outlast your striving. Let his whisper find you in the noise. Let this moment, just this one, be sacred. And when it ends, carry the stillness with you. Let it echo in your next breath. Let it walk with you through noise and busyness and life. Let it soften how you speak, slow how you move. Breathe peace into your pace, because the God who speaks in silence also walks with you in sound. And every time you return to this stillness, his voice becomes easier to recognize. It may not always be what you expect, but it will always be what you need. So take one last deep breath. Let your spirit rest. You are not alone. You are deeply loved. And the one who loves you is still speaking. Just listen. He is here,